I'm a little frazzled at the moment. We'll get started here. This is the January 2026 live stream. I'm still in Dover, New Hampshire. Just getting started here. I guess it helps if I turn my light on, right? There we go. All right, so that's a little bit better. All right, so guys, I'm just gonna get us started here. I saw some of you were already on. That's awesome. I posted that I might be starting this a little bit late. It's an absolute miracle I'm here on time. I'll fill you guys in on that. I actually need to go grab the drink of the day. It's in the refrigerator down here in the kitchen. This is the backup. I haven't had fast food for so long, but I went to Wendy's for lunch, and I got this is the backup. So this is the Mellow Yellow Zero Cherry. Is that right? Mellow Yellow Zero Cherry. Feel like I'm leaving something out of that, but yeah. So this is the start of this. But this is kind of the backup. But I do have an actual drink of the day as well. So I'm gonna go grab that. I will be right back. I see somebody just commented. I've got my laptop over here. I'm looking at comments. Okay, when I get back, I'll see who that was and I'll respond to any comments that are coming up. Just give me like a couple minutes. Oh. All right. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around. Okay, so let me see. There's a couple comments. All right. Everyone, okay, so not this month, but last month, YouTube started changing the way that comments show up. And so they now use usernames rather than display names. It's weird. It's the light popping. And so like I see the first comment here. I think this is from Sandra, but it comes up under a username. So if you're somebody that I know that's usually on the channel and I don't recognize your name, it's just because your username and your former display name are different. So who I think is Sandra said, hi Mark and everyone. Max says, Mark, how coming is it for when you ask a girl for her number and she gives it to you and she says we can go on a date, do they ghost you? This happens to me about 5 times the last year. I mean, you're gonna get that, like, girls, they just do that. They'll ghost you. And it's not necessarily just in situations where you get their number, but that's gonna happen sometimes anyway. And then basically, some girls, either it's like an awkward situation or they don't want to be confrontational, so they'll give you their number, or maybe even give you a fake number, and then they just won't respond, or it's not even them you're contacting. It's just a way for them to diffuse the situation, I guess, so that you can, like, you're not unhappy in the moment. They don't have to, I don't know, disappoint you or whatever, but then when they're in safety of their own home and have the choice of whether to respond or not, then they don't. So, I mean, all I can really say is just keep trying. And it doesn't necessarily, you don't always have to ask for a phone number. I mean, hell, I haven't dated for so long, I don't even know what you ask for now. It was Snap, and now I think people don't use Snap because it has a bad reputation. It didn't used to, but yeah, I mean, I would say just keep talking to girls, and you'll eventually find one that is gonna actually respond. Okay, and then I have somebody just said, hey, I'm trying to see your profile, see if oh man, the images I can see on the profiles are like microscopic. So hi, I'm sorry if I don't recognize you, if you have a different username than your old display name was. Okay, yeah, and Sandra did say that's her. Yeah, I think I recognized your picture, the tiny little picture. I'm looking at it on the camera screen because that's what I'm recording on. And for some reason my chat over here on the computer is not working. So you guys will see me touching the camera a lot to check up on comments. So anyway, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you can be here too, Sandra. Okay, so Max says, I met two girls on 2 different occasions from Thailand. They both bowed to me after saying we could go on a date, and they ghosted me? You would think they would not bow to me if they were not interested. I don't know what that means. I know like in Japan, well, I don't know if they do it anymore. Was it Japan? There used to be a culture that would do that as like a sign of respect, and they would just do that for everyone. But how are you meeting girls from Thailand? Like, are you over there, or are you trying to meet girls from Thailand specifically, or what's going on with that? Yeah, so okay, I'm at the end of the comments for now, so let me introduce the drink of the day. So this, I'll show you guys first here. So it's called Jim. Oh, it's golden cream soda. And I'll be honest, it looks disgusting. I'll give you the backstory of this. So I'll tell you guys here in a bit what I did over the last month, but I went home for the first time, well, the second time in a year and a half, almost 2 years. Since I took that job out in Indiana, I've only been home twice. And so was it like the first week of January I went home, and there's a place in Athens, Ohio, which is one of my home bases. It's a gas station kind of outside of town, and they have some like regional drinks. And I wanted ski, and you guys have seen me drink ski on the channel before. I wanted ski, and they're the most reliable place that has it. So I went out there, and sometimes they have other drinks. Like, you guys have also seen me have the dark cherry Eclipse soda. And they had, well, that's where I got that. But anyway, they didn't have that, but they did have this. So it's Jim Golden Cream Soda. Now, I know cream soda, I've heard of red and blue. I don't think I've ever heard of golden cream soda. And I'll be honest, I don't know what, maybe they all have particular flavors, but I'm not sure. This is from a really local company. It's Jim Beverages in Wellston, Ohio, which is like a couple counties south of Athens, but it's very rural southern Ohio. And I've never had this. I will say, looking at the nutrition facts, this stuff is horrible for you. I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you compare to that to like a Coke or Mountain Dew, it's 275 calories for the bottle. 73 grams of sugar, which is 146% of your daily value of sugar. So I don't know if we're gonna get through this. I don't know if I can handle that much sugar, but let's give it a try. You guys let me know if you've had this. Okay, the second sniff is a little bit better. The first sniff was weird. Okay, honestly, this kind of smells good. It looks like I'm drinking a bottle of piss, but it smells like cream soda, but something different. Okay, I'll give it a try. Give me a second here. Okay. It took a second to process that. I will probably drink some more of this through this. Maybe not the whole thing, because that's a ridiculous amount of sugar. But all right, it's not terrible. It definitely tastes like cream soda, and somehow it even has kind of a creamy consistency to it. It is carbonated as well. Like the smell had a little extra something to it, and the taste does too. So beyond cream soda, it tastes like there's something else in it, and I can't place it. And it's not bad, whatever it is. It's just it's a really strong flavor. Like almost fruity, but I can't place it. Almost like, not quite, but like almost banana. Like artificial banana flavor. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's what I experienced. So let me try to get my comments fixed over here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, I did. Max says, I met 2 girls from Thailand at an ice rink near DC. A lot of international people. I prefer Asian women, even though I'm white. I'm learning Chinese. Okay, well I mean, yeah, you live in the city, so that explains it. I didn't know if you were like, because I don't have cases on here, but I know he said last month he's like intentionally trying to meet Asian women. So I don't really have a preference, but yeah, I don't know. I would say just keep trying, and if you live in DC, or if you're visiting urban areas like that, you should have opportunity to meet people. I didn't know if you were doing that or if you were like going on websites specifically looking for someone from there, or like set your Tinder location to there or something. All right. My computer is not cooperating. Come on. I had all this set up beforehand, and now it's not working. Okay, I'll keep fighting with that. Oh, there it goes. Okay, cool. Cool, now it's working. All right, so I wanted to kind of give you guys an update. I don't remember the date that we did the last live stream for December, and I don't know if it was, I don't remember if it was Christmas, like right before or right after, but the holidays here, of course, I was the only guy in the house. I had some contractors over, but I didn't really have anybody else over. Nothing else was going on. And then I wanted to go home for Christmas break, but I didn't want to pay for all the holiday increases in travel pricing. So I waited until January 2nd to leave, and I took a week. I came back on the 8th, but, well, yeah, is that, yeah, that is a week, okay. But the reason for it is I wanted to get the weekly rate on the car rental, and I wanted to wait until the 2nd to get past the holiday season. It also takes, depending on how much you want to drive in a day, either 2 or 3 days each way to get there. So once I got home, I didn't actually have that much time to do anything. But I drove through Massachusetts and Connecticut. So those are 2 new states that I've been to now, that I'd never been to before. And then drove through a new area of New York that I hadn't been through. Then I went down to Wilkes-Barre, PA, and that's where I spent the first night. And to save money, I was sleeping in the car. So I found a place in Wilkes-Barre. Is that how you pronounce that? I'm just reading it off the map. But then from there, I was gonna drive the rest of the distance to Parkersburg, my hometown, until I got to Morgantown, West Virginia at like 8 p.m. And I had not been in Morgantown for almost 4 years. And if I never go to Morgantown again, I would be happy with that. I had no intention of going there, and I even thought about driving out of my way to not go there, but that's the route that it wanted to take me. So I decided to make the most of it. There's a restaurant there that opened a branch in Athens that I loved, but then it went out of business. So I was like, you know what, if I have to go to Morgantown, I'll at least go to this restaurant. And I went to the restaurant. It's Oriza. It's like an Asian bowl place. It's like Chipotle, but Asian. And so I ate there. I went over to the fraternity house that I lived at back in 2022 and hadn't been back to since. Nobody was there for break, but I did trace my footsteps a little bit on campus there. And then I decided, well, I can drive the rest of the way home tonight. It's only an hour and 45 minutes to get to my hometown from here. But I was like, I should go see if my co-working space is unlocked, because when I was in Morgantown, I had a co-working space, and I had my work iPad with me because I had to work like through my whole vacation. And I had my work iPad, and I was like, I haven't checked my emails for a couple days. I need a place to set up and do that. So I drove over there, and sure enough, 4 years later, they're still leaving the back door unlocked. So I went in, and I just basically set up there. I ran to the Walmart up the street. I got some food, stored it there, and I was like, I'm holing up here for the night. And I slept. I probably could have slept at the co-working space, but I slept at a business down the street and then went back in the morning. So basically that, I drove the rest of the way to Parkersburg. I got into my storage units. I was taking some stuff back that I've had in my car since I left for Indiana in July of 2024. Stuff that I thought I needed, but I don't need. So I put that in storage. And then I grabbed a couple of things to bring back with me to sort through. And then what else did I do? Oh, and then I grabbed a heater, very important thing. You guys saw my post, it's 2 degrees here right now. So I grabbed the heater, and then I went on to Columbus. I got my hair cut, got my eyebrows done. I maintain them myself for the most part, but they kind of got out of control. And so I got them redone. It's mostly just waxing. They just like wax here and kind of here on both sides. And then what else? Couldn't get into the dentist, but I do have an appointment scheduled for summer for that. And then I came back. Tried to meet up with my cousin, but she was sick. So I gotta wait until the next time I come back for that. And then drove a different way back just to hit some new places. Crossed the Green Mountains in Vermont again, and yeah, basically it was it. It was a whole lot of driving. I drove over 2,000 miles in 7 days, and I got a few things accomplished once I got home, but I didn't have much time there at home. So anyway, at least I feel like I got some stuff done. Let's see here. Of course, now in the middle of this is when my computer is trying to update. Okay, Sandra says, where I came from, most Asian women have traditional mindsets and are not intrusive or in your face, so are not used to forward approach. It helps to start slow and gentle, just being cordial, and remain at a respectable distance at the first few meetings, then build a rapport from there with trust. Yeah, Max, so that's for you. But I would say, I mean, if you're gonna follow that advice, I mean, it's fine to ask for a phone number, but you could also just do it like right away. I mean, if you're just there with them, you know, I think you said you guys were, am I making this up or did you say you were ice skating? Oh, at an ice rink. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, just ask them. Be like, yo, just you want to. I mean, it's cold. Just be like, hey, I'm gonna get some hot chocolate and warm up. After this, do you want to go with me? And just continue talking. That's what I would do. I know you can't do it now, but hey, if that's your spot to meet people, you try that again and see how it goes. Eventually somebody will say yes. It's definitely not banana, but I don't know what that taste is. I'm about to like ask the company because it's like you know when Mountain Dew does their mystery flavors around Halloween and you have to guess, like sometimes it's like Sour Patch Kid or something like that. I mean, if yellow was a taste, this would be that. Creamy yellow. All right. So, let's see. So yeah, I took my trip, which is a big deal for me, you know, with the way my car is, and also, well, I don't really ever travel. So, taking a road trip home like that is kind of a big deal. After I got back, the guys moved in about a week later, and I've just been super busy with contractors. I have 2 contractor teams in right now. The guys have moved back in at this point, but there was so much work to do on the house that, yeah, there's so much work to do on the house that they're still working on it. And I don't know what happened last night, but I saw somebody ripped drywall out of the wall. I didn't go look to see where it came from. There was just a chunk of drywall, like a sizable chunk of drywall, like the size of like a football, in the foyer on the floor. So I don't know, probably tomorrow I'll have to go try to find out where that came from. But yeah, so as of right now, the house is no longer technically officially a fraternity house. It's operating as a boarding house, and we're at, I think, like 23 guys in the house, where we had 34 last semester. So it should be better, although, I mean, I don't know. The way it's looked this semester, I don't know if it's going to be. They seem like they're breaking a lot of stuff, so kind of see how that goes, I guess. But yeah, also, just so you guys know, I'm having some problems with the car. Like, Monday of last week, I was driving it, and it just died. Like, it just straight up died in the middle of the road. It's only done that once before. And just as it shut off, I heard the engine was like making a clunking noise, which it's also never made before. And I guess I just couldn't hear it because of like the traffic and like the defroster and stuff like that. So I don't know how long it was doing that. And anyway, it wouldn't start. I have AAA, so I called for a tow. But like I waited like 20 minutes just stuck in traffic with my flashers on. And then eventually it finally started. And then I drove it into a parking lot. And with my car, it just seems that like letting it set for a while fixes it. The longer it sets, the longer I can drive it the next time without any problems. So, but I do think that it's gradually getting worse. This clunking noise is new. It did it again today. It didn't shut off this time, but it made the clunking noise, which is not good. And it only does it after I've driven it for like a few miles. I think it helped today that it's literally 2 degrees outside. So like keeping it cooler seems to make it last longer. I don't know. Whatever's wrong with it, it's probably, well, it may be fixable, but it's going to cost a lot more than the car is worth. So I've just got to figure out how long I want to keep dealing with this. Because at some point, I probably will just get rid of the car. That presents some of its own challenges because I do have Walmart Plus and I have groceries delivered. That'll be fine for groceries, but I still have to figure out a way to get to my co-working space, things like that, without a car. So I have to figure all that out. Max says, I took a job at an ice rink just to meet women. It's like a part-time job. We sometimes get 1,200 skaters a day. It's outdoor. Oh yeah, we have an ice rink here in town. It's also kind of outdoor. Like it has a roof, but then the walls are open to the outside. But it's just been, once it was cold enough to ice skate, it was too cold for me to go outside. So I'm just like, nope. I know some of the neighbors have been out on the, well, it's not a lake. It's called Great Bay. So I live right off of a saltwater bay that's technically an inlet of the ocean. So it still fluctuates with the tides. Because I do only live, I don't know, probably less than 10 miles from the ocean. It kind of looks like a pond or like a river, but it's technically part of the ocean. And people go out there when that freezes up and they skate there. But yeah, that's basically, I don't know. I would eventually like to learn how to ice skate. It just involves me being outside when it's cold, so, you know. I guess I'm a little more prepared for that this year with all the winter clothes I've bought. I don't want to think about how much money I spent on that. I've got a few things, more I got to do. Yesterday, I tried to go for a walk, and it was just like, oh, okay, like I'm done with everything. Dinner isn't for, oh no, I guess we don't get dinner on Saturdays. Whatever I was thinking, I was like, oh, it's not going to be dark for like an hour or so. I should go for a walk, get some daylight. And I bundled up. I'm like, this is my first insulation layer. Then I have a small puffer that goes over this, and then I have my heavy coat, my normal heavy coat, not my heavy Arctic coat. But I've been wearing 3 coats. I have base layers under my jeans. And I'm wearing Gore-Tex boots, which, hold on. I'll try to do this without falling out of the chair. Okay, there you go. I got muck boots on. So these are insulated, and I'm wearing like wool socks with them too. But yeah, so basically, I'm learning how to dress warmly. I just don't have everything yet, and still trying to find the right winter hat. I bought a couple. They are warm. They're merino. I don't love the look of them. I don't know. Still working on that. But then yesterday I tried to go for a walk and I shaved yesterday because I'd grown my beard, I guess, out for like 3 weeks, and then I shaved yesterday, and of course it's freezing. So I tried to go for a walk, and my face was so cold. So I ended up just heading back to the house, and I need something that covers my face. I haven't figured that out yet, but that might be a project for next winter. Still trying to get my comments to work over here. I saw your post about your frat being shut down. This job at the frat does not seem stable. You might have to move several states every 2 years. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like this, it's like there's a lot of reward to this job because I get to essentially live for free and I get paid like an okay salary on top of that. I know people, when I first took this job and I was like, oh, it's 36,000 a year, people are like, oh my God, like I can't live on that. I'm like, well, yeah, but that's like almost like a decent salary anyway. And then you're getting food for free during the school year, at least during the week. And then you get free utilities, free internet. I get a cell phone stipend, I get a healthcare stipend, and then I get free rent. So they calculated it out one time, and with all that stuff, it's basically the equivalent of making like 65,000 a year. But I mean, take any job and any of the things that could happen with it, like your company could go out of business, or your you could get fired or something like that. And all the ways that a normal job is unstable, you just add a few to those, a few more possibilities of instability. So what I'm saying is it has the goodness of like, it has all these perks that come with it that make it almost like it pays more than it does. But on the other hand, it is more likely, yes, that something will happen that will end that. And I guess another thing about this is like it's easier for some reason. I don't know why. This seems to be the only kind of job I can get. It's really hard to get any job. It seems to be fairly easy for me to get house director jobs. Not complaining, but I just know that if something happens here, I can find another job pretty easily. And I guess with that comes also the downside of it, which again is there are these other things that can happen, like the chapter got shut down, right? That's something that can happen. And then the outcome of that, sometimes that means you lose your job. Sometimes it means things are like unstable, like questionable for a while. Sometimes it means you have to go work for the other fraternity that they're gonna rent the house to until the fraternity you're working for can come back. Some of these jobs are on 1-year contracts, and that's pretty standard in academia for any job. Some of them aren't. Some of them are on 3 years. Some of them don't have contracts. It's kind of all over the place. But yeah, take whatever things that can make your job unstable at a normal job, and then add a few to those of the fraternity can get shut down. The chapter can do something stupid and get in trouble, which might affect you. There's a couple more. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but yeah, there's more stuff that can happen in these jobs that means that, all of a sudden, yeah, you do have to change locations. Because you can get these jobs fairly easily, but you have to be willing to move. Like if I said that I wanted to stay here at UNH, it might be really hard for me to get another house director job here. But if I'm open to moving to where a position's open, then I can pretty easily find one. So yeah, you're right. And I wish that I could remember those other things, because I've definitely thought about them, of like why being a house director is inherently more unstable. But honestly, it's just a little more unstable than most normal jobs. Sandra said, "Is the job like a housemaster in boarding schools?" I'm not really familiar with it because in the U.S. we have some boarding schools, but they're very rare, and it's usually only the extraordinarily wealthy that go to them. So I didn't go to one, and I think I might only know one person, a guy I went to college with, that did. So I'm not really familiar with what that's like. And I will say that with the house director position, it's not a very standardized industry. So it depends on where you're working and for what organization you're working for, what exactly your responsibilities are. But when I worked with Clevin, which is the National Housing Corporation for my fraternity, I was essentially the property manager, but I had some responsibilities of promoting brotherhood and attending chapter meetings. So that would be like chapter operations type stuff. Some of these are considered live-in advisors, which is kind of well, it's kind of a hybrid of a chapter advisor. So a fraternity chapter would normally have an alumni or adult advisor, and then there's the house director, and then they kind of combine those roles. I've also seen, like in the sorority world, a lot of times if there's a house director there, they also have hostess duties, of like either organizing or at least being present at the events. So it's kind of hard to say across the board, and kind of hard to answer your question, especially because I don't know what a housemaster does exactly. But I mean, there probably are some similarities to it. The closest way that I can explain to people what I do is there's two movies that are either the same thing or very close to what I do. So there's The House Bunny, with I don't know her name, some girl, that's in that movie, and so she's a sorority house mother. That's the exact same thing I do. The other one is Van Wilder 2, The Rise of Taj, where he's a grad student. And I mean, I'm not doing it as a grad student, but sometimes that's the case, that it's a grad student that does these positions. And he's living in the dorm with undergraduates. Yeah. So, I mean, that's more of kind of like a UK version of what it would be, but it's something like that. That I will say that's one thing that is very difficult, because fraternities are almost exclusive to the US. If I wanted to do this anywhere else, it would be difficult for me to transition, because the industry just doesn't exist other places. Max says, I think AI is going to take away a lot of coding and IT jobs. What do you think? Yeah, I do think so. Especially because like Claude, for example, is like made specifically for coding. Um, I'm really glad that I didn't go that direction, because in West Virginia for the longest time, the state was paying for people to get trained, to, well, at first it was coding, and now I think it's data annotation, but essentially they promise these people, hey, like the state's going to pay for this training, and then you go work and you'll make a decent salary, and then people just weren't getting jobs after they graduated through this program, and now, yeah, with AI, they switched to data annotation. So I think that's kind of their admission that like the coding thing's not going to go anywhere. Okay. All right. Sandra, I see your comment. Give me 1 second. I'm going to be right back. And then I'll get back to anybody else who comments while I'm gone as well. I keep watching the weather because we're supposed to get 2 feet of snow, maybe 3 to 5 feet of snow between now and tomorrow evening. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so Sandra says, sounds about the same. A lived-in director who looks after the students in their building dorms, but is also the advisor and monitors their well-being activities, abiding the rules. It depends on where you are. I don't do all of that. Some house directors do, though, just depending on their organization. So here, I don't have any kind of disciplinary role, and that's why, like, when I mentioned I woke up this morning and there was drywall on the floor, I don't really care. They'll probably have me check the cameras tomorrow, figure out who it was, but then I just send that to nationals and they deal with it. So I don't know. I'll figure out what to do with that. But basically, I've got to figure out what to do in the. I got to figure out what to do in the short term, because after May, things should basically be back on track. I haven't heard yet who's renting the house, like what national organization that's going to be. So once I find that out, I'll know a little bit better what it'll be like and whether I want to stay, because I have the option of staying with the new fraternity that comes in, but it'll kind of be based on what they expect for the role and how much they're going to pay, because I don't want to take a pay cut. So if that's going to be the case, then I'll look for something else. All right, so we've got 10 on right now. I have to keep watching that weather just to see how much snow. I don't know at what point. Because I mean, if I have to, I can stay at the office tonight, but at some point, I'm gonna have to make the decision of like, after I get off the stream, do I stay in the office and work on stuff tonight, or do I need to go home so I don't get snowed into the office? This is my first big New England storm, so they're saying it's like the storm of the century, and that like New England's never seen this much snow before, and I'm like, of course this would happen while I'm here. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's really all I have. I mean, Sandra said better stock up on some supplies. Depending on when I leave here, I might try to stop at the grocery store, but they might be closing, because I told you guys I went to Wendy's before this, and Wendy's was closing in New England. New England natives, they're closing Wendy's at, I think it was 4 p.m. They were closing on a random Sunday. So, and normally they're open, I think, till like 1 a.m. or so. So it really means that like even the native people here who are used to this are really thinking it's going to be a huge deal. So the grocery store may well be closed, but what I can do is about 2 blocks from where I'm at right now, there's a 7-Eleven, and I would assume that 7-Eleven would never close no matter what. So it'd be a little more expensive, but yeah, I can pick up some stuff there. I did also get groceries delivered from Walmart Plus yesterday, so I have enough caffeine. That's the important thing. I have some food, and food service will start back tomorrow at lunch. Our chef pre-prepared a meal so that he can text me and have me lay it out if he's not able to get to the house. But he does also live literally within sight of the house, and he's planning on just walking. So we should be okay, but we've got a backup plan for that as well. Jennifer's here. Hello, hope everything is well. Just wanted to say hi, but have to sleep soon. Yeah, hey, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I get it. I know it's late for you. What time is it? Like, is it like 10 p.m.? I'm guessing. I don't know. But I know you have to get up super early for work. It was like 5 or something you get up. But I think I'm about to experience what Sweden's like, because I'm in New England. And yeah, it's 10 p.m. because I'm in New England, and they're saying this is going to be like this legendary snowstorm. Everything's closing early. It's about 0 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and we're supposed to get anywhere between 2 and 5 feet of snow today. So yeah, it'll be interesting. See how that goes for me. But it was like I was telling them earlier, it's a good thing I've stocked up on winter clothes the whole time I've been here. I at least have some boots and wearing 3 layers of jackets. But that's the plan. Basically, after I get off here, I'll double check just to hopefully not get snowed in at the office and actually be able to drive home. But never, I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this before. It's worrying me a little bit that even the native people here are closing everything early, because I thought this was just normal for them, but they're all freaking out too. Oh. So it may be good that your original plan that we talked about last year didn't happen, because if you were, I know originally you said you were going to come here in February, and basically this is what you would have flown here to, as 0 degrees and 5 feet of snow. Good luck. Oh, Jennifer says, good luck in snowstorm. We have had very much snow the past 6 weeks. Yeah. And the snow here is different than I've ever seen before. I think this is the kind of snow that you're supposed to have for skiing. You know, because when I experience snow, it's usually like wet and the snow that we've had here is like, it's literally like, it looks like powdered sugar. And so like when you brush off your car, it doesn't take a lot of effort. It kind of just blows away. And I've never seen snow like that. But I've heard that like at the ski resorts, that's the kind of snow that they have. So I guess I'll just have to see how that goes. I'm gonna try to stay inside and stay warm. Um, all next week looks like it's gonna be super, super cold for us. So like, I'd say like Celsius, -20, -30. Max says, who does have discipline role? What do you do if someone punches a hole in the wall? Well, there's a difference between how I do it and how I think the other house directors do it. So most of the house directors would be upset. And while they wouldn't really do anything discipline wise, they would just say like, well, they would say something to them or express disappointment or frustration or something. For me, I genuinely don't care if they break something. It's not worth me getting upset about. They break something nearly every night, and I feel like if they know that they're not going to be in trouble with me, and they know that I'm not gonna be mad at them or say something to them, they feel comfortable coming to me and telling me that they did it, and knowing that I'm just gonna put in the order to replace it, and like, yeah, they're gonna get charged for it by nationals, because if I can identify who did it, I tell them who did it, and they charge them individually rather than dividing up the cost across the whole chapter. But I want them to know that, like, if they're willing to tell me that they did it, or to tell me who did it, I'm not gonna just be upset because something's broken. Like, that's just gonna happen. And so that's kind of the difference, is I don't have a disciplinary role at all. What really happens is it's just sent to nationals and they just fine them money for everything. That's how they basically deal with everything. If somebody punches a hole in the wall, my responsibility, try to determine who it was. And if I can determine who it was, bill that person individually. Then I just schedule the repair, and whether that be contacting the handyman or putting it on our list to do over either winter or summer break turn. And I put a work order in the system, take pictures of it, kind of follow along. If there's any contractors involved, I got to do that. But yeah, basically, it's kind of like, who cares if somebody punches a hole in the wall? It happens every day here, so there's no reason me getting upset about it and like taking it personally. Jennifer said, has the first month of 2026 been good to you? I would say yes. I think so, like, mostly. I know you missed the first part, but I did go home. It was kind of my Christmas break, but I waited until after the holidays to go home, so it would be a little cheaper. So I took a big road trip. I rented a car for a week, and I drove over 2,000 miles there and back, just to spend, I think I was home for like 2 days. And I got my hair cut, I did some other things, ran some errands, and worked on cleaning out both my storage units. Was gonna have dinner with my cousin, but she was sick, and basically just took a little bit of time off of work. I still had to work through my whole vacation. I still had to check my emails at night, and I had to have a Zoom meeting one day, but like a lot less work than I would on a normal day if I was at the house. So I think it's been pretty good. I think there's nothing major that stood out other than the trip that has been like, a big highlight, but it's not like anything like super bad has happened. So I'm kind of just thinking of getting through the winter and, or at least the worst of it. I mean, if it could just get up into the 30s, like the 30 Fahrenheit, so still cold, but a lot warmer than it is now. Um, that, I mean, that's like my main concern right now is getting through that. I think the only other thing is with this now being my job, like with it, me now running it as a boarding house rather than a fraternity. I do know that the new fraternity coming in the fall, um, things are going to be different with them, and so I just have to come to a point where I decide, do I want to stay in this house and continue with them, or do I want to go elsewhere at that point? Which, I don't know. I mean, New Hampshire has its pluses, and I like being in the same place and building stability, um, whether it be in the same role or just being in the same town. But at the same time, I have the opportunity potentially to take another house director position and move up quite a bit in pay. Like my base salary with not any of the other stuff or the like the free rent and stuff. I make like 30, little over 37,000. So realistically, I could get into a house director role that pays 50,000 or more, and that would help me a whole lot. I know, I think it was last month, you asked me like when exactly I would be out of debt. And with everything staying as it currently is, it's 5 years. But if I were to get a raise to like one of those jobs where I'm making 50,000 a year, I could probably make it 3 years to be completely out of debt, because my expenses really wouldn't change very much, and I just have that extra money, so I could put that as additional payments towards stuff. And if I'm thinking like, well, 3 years or however many, with an additional 1,000 or so per month that I can just have extra to put toward paying off my debt. Well, for 3 years, that's $36,000 right now, or right there. So that's kind of my mindset. So I'll just have to see how the next 3 months or so go to figure out what to do about that. What about you? I didn't know if you had any big plans for January or if you were just doing the normal. All right. I was wondering if they changed one of the settings here on YouTube again. I may have not done it right. Oh well. All right. Well, so I went over, we've done drink of the day. We did I went over my trip. We talked a little bit about my job. Honestly, other than the weather, just because it's exceptionally bad right now. Oh, well, and the car. I did tell you guys I'm having problems with the car. This poor car. I've had this thing, at this point, I've had it for 9 years, and it is tired. I think I'm eventually going to get to a point where I'm just going to have to get rid of it because it's like not trustworthy to go anywhere useful. And at that point, that would help me because I no longer have to pay car insurance or the annual registration. But it's been so long since I've lived without a car, and like doing so here where, yeah, I'm in New England, so there is public transportation. It's still not like really sufficient, but it's not non-existent like most places I've lived. But I'd still have to figure it out. There's a bus stop right in front of my house, but I got to figure out how that bus system works, and the other options as well. So I'm still kind of going back and forth in my brain about at what point I'm going to be ready to give up the car and just deal with the inconvenience of having a car-free lifestyle. Jennifer says, wow, 3 to 5 years is great. Time passes quicker than we think. And if you're debt-free within 5 years, I think the future is looking great for you. Yeah, I was really surprised when I actually calculated it out, especially because I haven't had, Mint, the software that I was using and doing the budget reviews with every month. I haven't been doing that since 2022, like when my life fell apart, and I'm not back on track yet with evaluating a replacement for it. So it's not just you guys, I'm not visualizing either where I'm at financially. So when I actually sat down and was like, okay, here's the debt that I have left, and like, I know what extra payments I'm making now. If I continue to make those extra payments, when is this stuff going to get paid off? Well, I was really surprised that it was so soon. And I think the main reason I was so surprised is my 2 main private student loans just don't really seem like they go down. I make the minimums on them every month. And actually the last few months I've paid a few dollars extra. But those balances have remained basically the same for like years. They do go down slightly, but like, I think the difference on my small one is like $26 per month. I pay like $126 toward it, and then the actual difference in the loan balance decreasing is like $26 per month. So it just seems like it's taking absolutely forever. But I've never been able to make extra payments to it until a few months ago. And sure, it started out as like $2, now it's like $5 or $7 extra I'm paying toward it per month. But my credit cards are almost paid off, and I'm making extra payments toward them. So once they are fully paid off in November of this year, I think, I'm on a payment plan paying $288 per month on one of them. And then another one, I have a minimum. This is the minimum I set. It's higher than the minimum that they require, but I have a minimum of $37 I pay on that. So don't make me do the math in my head, but I have $288 plus $37 plus $200. And that is because I have been paying a flat $100 per paycheck toward my credit card balances. So that's twice a month. That's $200 plus the $288 on the other one plus the $37. That $288 payment will be paid off in November. The $37 one will be paid off by that time, if not sooner. So $288, $200, that's $488. So $488 plus $37, so a little over $500, I think. So basically, as of December of this year, I'll be able to make an additional $500 per month payment per month to my smaller student loan, and it's only $15,000. So basically from there I will snowball it. I have that like $500 extra, and then when that loan gets paid off, its payment is $125. So then that'll be $625 that I'll put toward the big one. So it'll be $625 a month plus the regular payment of it, which is like $394. So essentially I'll be paying almost $1,000 per month toward this one student loan. And yeah, so then it'll decrease pretty quickly. That's the goal anyhow. And I just gotta I'm rebuilding my stability from everything falling apart a few years ago, and I'm not there yet, but I'm more stable than I was, and I'm using it in a way that will make me more stable in the future by trying to get this stuff out of the way. Jennifer says, yes, January has been good, although dark and cold. Yeah, I'll tell you about that. I have a small surgery in February, but other than that, everything has been great. Okay. I know you said it's small, but I mean, I hope everything goes well with that. the and yeah, the darkness, when the time changed, I don't know if you guys have daylight savings time there, but here the time changes twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring. And like the weekend that the time changed and everything got dark an hour earlier, now it gets dark at 4 p.m. And yeah, I already have seasonal, like seasonal affective disorder. Um, Not officially diagnosed, but I definitely feel it. And so I was like, I'm this far north, it's this cold, there's this much snow, and now it's dark at 4 p.m. I have to do something. So I did start taking a vitamin D supplement. Um, First time I've ever had to do that, and I'm hoping it's helping. But uh, yeah, that's just kind of where things are right now. It's just dark basically all the time that I'm awake. Um, that is hard to deal with. It really is. And yeah, so I understand you don't want to talk about it publicly, but I'm hoping everything goes well for you with the surgery, and hopefully it's not anything too big. But um, just make sure you come to the February live stream so I know you're all right. All right. And then with the and then Sandra said, great to hear that you're making great progress with your loan payments. Yeah, I mean, my focus has just been on making enough money to survive. And then part of that is just making the absolute minimum payments on my student loans. But now that I've got that covered, kind of barely, now that I've got that covered, how do I say this? I didn't realize that while doing that, I had also made so much progress on other things. Like I can tell you that credit card, or I'm paying $288 a month, and it'll be paid up in November of this year. That happened because back in 2023 and 2024, when I was living in the car, I was not consistently making payments. I wasn't making enough money to make my minimum payments. And I would pay it 1 month and then like miss a month and then have to jump back. Anyway, it got to the point where I finally started working, but they just couldn't wait anymore. I was already like 6 months behind on payments. And so they canceled my card, but they gave me the option of, instead of going to collections, that they would, the card would still be permanently closed, but they would let me do a payment plan where I had 0% interest, but I had to pay it off within, I think it was 2 years. And because of the balance of it, it was like 7,000. Because of that balance, I actually had to, have these high monthly payments. But with that payment, then, I'm now, the balance on it now, as of this month, is 2,880 from 7,000 something. So that'll be paid in full in November. And all right, well, I kind of lost track of where I was going with that. I guess my point is, I ended up not going to collections. I'm ending up paying everything back to them that I owed, and making that right. But at the same time, having that large balance come off of my credit, and even though I have a charge off on there, it doesn't hurt my credit all that much. My credit right now is a 699. So I'm like so close to 700. And I know 700 doesn't mean anything anymore, but 700 used to be considered a perfect credit score, and or like very high credit. And so I'm like, um, and it's going to help me a lot more once that balance is paid off. Once, even though it shows that there's a charge off, it'll say charge off but paid in full. That'll help a lot. And then of course I get to switch that 288 to paying toward to something else. So yeah, it's just been really surprising, honestly, to me. I've been so focused on just making the minimum payments and getting by that I didn't realize how much progress I'd actually made to where things were almost paid off. So in 2024, when I set that payment plan to pay it off by 2026, 2026 just seemed like some distant date in the future that I couldn't even conceptualize. And here we are, and somehow I've managed to make all those payments. So it's almost over. Jennifer says, is your ultimate financial goal still financial independence? I think I remember you talking about it years ago. Yeah. I mean, I think I would say that more so, I think my goal is just happiness. Like, financial independence is part of that, because I want to do the right thing and I want to pay my debts. Despite all the criticism I've gotten from people accusing me of not wanting to do that, that's always been the goal. It's just sometimes I can't make enough money to make that happen. I'm still going through and I'm doing it, even though it's taken a really long time. And it hasn't been easy. You guys have seen all the struggles behind the scenes of that and the ugliness of it. I wouldn't say that financial independence is my ultimate goal, because I want to get to that point and then be able to enjoy life because I have that. So I think happiness and enjoying life, and I want to travel. I want to do things that I enjoy and things that interest me. I've had little projects in mind for so many years that I've never got to do because all I do is work. And I want to take better care of myself as well, the things I've never had time to do. The money to eat better food and maybe have more time to spend money, going to the gym or getting a trainer. And because part of that is a timing issue and part of it's a money issue that I haven't been doing that. But I think financial independence is what I need to get there, to be able to really live my life like that. And it's taken a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I definitely thought I'd get out of college and have this handled within a few years. Hey, Ryan, thank you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm blind. Hold on, what does that say? Oh, number one, thank you. So basically what's happening is I zoned out for a second, hold on. So ultimately what I want to do is I want to make good on my word. I want to pay all of my debts. I want to get everything squared away. And then, all this stuff with the girl, the divorce, all that stuff happened, and that really messed things up. I want to get all of that fixed, squared away, back on track, all of that as well. And finances helps everything. So once I'm able to do that, I'll be so good. And and that is actually one of the main problems I have here. I know you guys. I've been on YouTube forever. I don't have a very large channel, and I know the main thing is, well, if you want to grow on YouTube, you got to make content. That's my biggest problem, because I work so much that I don't have the time to. And I know if I could just do it, then I would make more money off YouTube, and then I wouldn't have to work another job. But my need for money to pay like my student loans and my debt, and I mean, to some extent, just, basic survival money, that has kept me from growing the channel to a point of financial independence, not only of just being able to make enough money to live on here, but being able to move somewhere that is cheaper to save money, where I don't have to have employment lined up there. That location independence is something that I really need as well. So that is also something that I'm working on. Ryan says, what are your favorite cheese plate items? You seem like a smoked Gouda kind of guy. Well, okay, so now I don't know all that much about cheese. I will tell you that ahead of time. Smoked Gouda is good. Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. She says high five to Ryan, who also gave me a super chat. So basically the idea is, I don't really go out and proactively buy cheese, but if hey, there's cheese there, I'll take some. Okay, I say that, and then was like Thursday night, our chef made Caesar salad, which I don't eat because I don't know if you guys know this, but Caesar dressing has anchovies in it, and I just think seafood is gross. So you can find Caesar dressing without anchovies, but most of it has it. So what I did is I had picked some cheese. He had like grated, I think it was Parmesan or something like that on top of it. And I would like pick some of the cheese off the top of it. He's like, I just have a bag of that in the back if you want some. So with my dinner, I had like a side of like shavings of Parmesan cheese. I do like smoked Gouda. I like very sharp cheddar. I mean, I like the normal stuff too. I only eat American cheese if it's like on a hamburger. Otherwise, I don't really like it. I don't get into super fancy cheeses. Like, I'm not super fancy about stuff, but if they were there, I would try them. I do like blue cheese, even though I might be allergic to it, but I eat it anyway. I don't actually know if I'm allergic to it, and I've never had a reaction to it, but I am allergic to, it's either methicillin or amoxicillin, and I can't remember which one it is, but it's the same kind of, thing as penicillin, which is blue cheese. But like I said, I eat it, especially like black and blue burgers, and I've never had any reaction to it. I've actually only had reactions twice to the psyllin when I was taking it as a medicine, and it doesn't like mess me up. I mean, it does, but it, like, I'm not gonna die. I just get a full body rash, and then I have to take steroids to get rid of it. It hasn't happened since I was little. It happened once when I was a baby, and then it happened, I don't know, probably elementary school. So, you know, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Right? Eat some cheese, and then if I look weird afterward, I can just go get some steroids, I guess. Oh, okay. Jennifer says, oh, say more about the projects you want to work on. So, like, basically, when I was in college, what I thought my post-college life was going to look like was I was going to basically spend all day, every day at the gym. I might not be able to tell now, but I I was very active at the time. 2011, right, I graduated in 2012. I was running like 5Ks. I was training for a half marathon, and then through 2014, I was also training for a marathon. Then I got hurt. I did something to my ankle, and then later did something to my back. So I thought I'd do it the next year. But the next year, I started working a lot. It was this whole thing. So I run. Well, I shouldn't say that because it's been a while, but I still think of myself as a runner, and someday I probably won't do half marathons anymore, but I'll probably go back to 5Ks occasionally, especially the night ones, because I just don't like when you have to wake up on Saturday morning at like 5 a.m. to go run a 5K, but sometimes they have them at night, and you'll put on like glow sticks and stuff. I can totally do those. Um, but I want to get into some other activities. And my point in saying all that is what I thought my post-college life was going to be when I was in college is I thought that I was going to be spending most of my time in the gym and getting more into lifting, and the rest of the time I would be working for Habitat for Humanity, just as a volunteer. And that's like, it's a program in America where they take poor people and give them a plot of land, and then they have to like help build their own house, but there's also volunteers that come in. So they do everything. They do like the framing, well, like, I mean, everything in building a house is volunteer done. So I was going to learn all those construction skills and just kind of do it as fun and as a volunteer thing. Because I've wanted to get into property management, which is what I'm in now. I've wanted to be in it for a while. It's the business that my dad's parents had back in the 50s and 60s. And, well, my dad inherited the business in the 70s and then just kind of like ran it into the ground. But, you know, I saw the wisdom of what my grandparents were doing, and I wanted to get back to that. And that was part of it. So, yeah, looking back is pretty naive that I thought I was just gonna magically have the money to support myself and pay my student loans. But that's what I was thinking. So I bring all that up to answer your question about the projects. So some of these projects I've had in my mind for like forever. I don't know if you guys even know about this because I never have time to work on it, but I'm also a historian, and I have so much of that type of work that I'd love to do. I think there's probably some things outside of that, but there are things that I really would love to do. Like, I'm the person that inherited all the family pictures, all of like the family heirlooms, and I want to go through and properly categorize all of that, label it, digitize it, and make it publicly available so that it's accessible to other people. So archivist work, essentially. You can see my mom's side coming in on there because she's a librarian, or she was a librarian for 11 years and was always interested in well, she wanted to go to college for library science. So there's a so there's this big thing there where like I'm interested in the history side from my dad because my dad's a history professor. My mom's side is a librarian, so archivist work. But I want to take all the family pictures, and I mean there's hundreds of them, but like books and heirlooms and pictures, and I want that all digitized, publicly accessible. I can work with like universities or something to have that stored on their servers. And then there are a few little projects. So like, for example, there is a book that I have in my storage unit that was written by my great grandparents. It's a book, it's dated, it says 1811, so it's over 200 years old. And it's handwritten, and it's, well, I'll just tell you, it's Ages of the Children of Joel and Nancy Short. And this was, like, book started in North Carolina, came across the mountains by wagon to West Virginia, and somehow ended up with me. And what they did is they made, I want to digitize this book is my main point, but like, and make it publicly available. But basically, what they did is they wrote like their marriage date, and it was in detail with like their parents' names, the name of the preacher, where they were both born, because these kind of records weren't kept at that time. And so then they started on the next page with each one of their kids, and they'd say, you know, this person was born on this day at this place. And then there's another section where it's where each of their kids is married, and it says, you know, this person married this person, and that person was the son or daughter of these two people and where they lived. And it's all of this genealogical information at a time where those records weren't kept and most people weren't even literate. So, it's like a really rare thing. I want to make that publicly available. And then another project is my cousin. I couldn't tell you exactly what his the relation, but his name was Dutch. He wrote a book back in the 50s, like back in the time where you typed it up on a typewriter and the pictures are in it that are like developed pictures that are then put in with Scotch tape. Um, but he wrote a book about one of the lines in my family, and I want to republish that work because I only know of one other copy of it that exists, and that one doesn't have pictures in it. Mine does, and I want to do that, and I'm going to write a foreword to it. So I'm going to basically self-publish this republishing of his book on the history of the family, and I'll write a foreword to it. And then just like another project, there are some really obscure colleges in the area where I'm from that nobody's ever written about. And I want to actually really get in and research and write some histories, and like publish a small book for like the history and genealogical sections of the libraries, with that, with the information I find there. And then um, there's I'm probably gonna publish on like Medium or something, but there's this whole like intricate history about what university is the oldest school in Ohio, and it's not nearly as simple of an answer as it sounds like. So there's a lot of research to do and like a whole scholarly article I can write and publish after that. So these things actually really interest me, and I realize that everyone has probably zoned out because anytime I talk about history, people are like their eyes glaze over. But I like this stuff, and even though I keep it private most of the time because I've realized that it drives people away, um, when it's like 2 a.m. and I'm sitting at home and I know I'm not going to get anything productive done for the rest of the day, and I just want to do something that I enjoy and focus on, this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking up. So those kinds of projects. And then on top of that, there's kind of like there's a couple other things too. Like I definitely want to clean out both of my storage units. That's more of like a physical job I've got to do. So anyway, yeah, I hope that answers your question. I'm totally geeked out there for a second, but all right. So Ryan gave a super chat for $5, and then Jennifer gave a 50 Swedish crown super chat. Jennifer said, I had wine and cheese this week. I don't usually drink, but it was for celebrating that I got a pay raise. Nice. Do you have yearly pay raises? I do, and this is the first job I've ever had like that. So congrats first. If I didn't bore you away with all that. But yeah, so that's good that you got a pay increase. So I know that's helping you because I know you're working on your finances too. So I'm happy for you. I do get yearly increases. This is the first job I've ever been at that's like that. It's only 3% a year, and so it doesn't. I mean, it either doesn't catch up with inflation or it just barely covers it. But that's the reason for it. It's not so much like a raise as it is just adjustment for inflation. But yeah, when I started here, I was at 36,000, and then 37,080 is my salary now, because that's 3%. Well, I guess 103% of my original salary. So, so yeah, I've got that. Sandra says, my husband enjoys history and archiving, and I enjoy helping him collect info, make print / photocopies for him. So no worries about my side zoning out. we've been to a few archives in several towns here already as a side hobby. Yeah, and as much as I am into it, I will say that like even I can only do it to a certain extent because like I love historical stuff, but like for example, I could never take a full vacation of just history stuff. Um, I tried that. The very first vacation that I ever took was my first job out of college. We were required to take a week off, and I thought, well, while I'm out here, I might as well drive out to this eastern panhandle of West Virginia because I've never been out to those counties. And so I went out to Antietam, like the battlefield. I went to Harper's Ferry, saw like John Brown's fort, and I was like doing stuff like that. But after a couple of days, I'm just like, I kind of got sick of it myself. So yeah, I mean, I guess as interested in it as I am, I guess there's a point to how much like how much of it I would do because like even I get kind of burnt out on it. Like if I were to go somewhere, say if I traveled to like another country and I know a lot of touristy things are like historic sites, I could do a few of them, but I think after two or three, I'd probably be done and just want to like just hang out and eat or something. Oh, but yeah, that's basically those are some of the projects that I want to work on, and I also want to well, yeah, like I said, the storage units. So that's like a big like physical project really. So I guess someday I'll be a published author, even if it is just some small booklets about very, very obscure colleges that don't exist anymore and that maybe nobody will read. But for the one person out there that does look for it, it'll be there. All right. Let's see. Well, any more comments? No, there's not. Yeah, I've not physically been to an archive myself, unless you count the special collections at my college. But I don't know. I mean, I've gotten into a lot of the stuff digitally. Like, I've pulled some of my ancestors' pension files and found interesting things in there. Um, so, yeah, I can absolutely get into stuff like that, and I think it's it's boring to most people, but I love it. Um, Jennifer says, I'm dating someone and he is very kind and caring towards me. I appreciate everything he does for me and want to give back. Do I just ask him what he would appreciate from me, or is that strange? I need a man's perspective. Appreciate everything he does for me and want to give back. Do I just ask him what he would appreciate from me, or is that strange? I mean, so I would say keep in mind, I know that we probably have some like cultural differences, but I think as far as what would work here, or as far as like, I guess me as an American and what I would think would be normal, I think that you should just be direct. I mean, I know I appreciate that. So you're saying that you want to give back and you want to just ask what he would appreciate. I think it would be fine for like a combination. You know, if there are things that you have in mind that you think that he would appreciate, just go ahead and do those things, and unless he comes back later and says he doesn't like it or something. But like, whatever you think he would appreciate would be fine to do. But then yeah, you can also ask him. I mean, I don't think that would be that strange. Like, I think guys generally, at least I do, I appreciate like being straightforward and clear communication. So if you just say something like, or probably don't just like bring it up randomly, but like in conversation, say something like, you bring so much to the table, and I really appreciate it. But I just sort of want to know what I can give you as well. Something like that, maybe. Although I will say, as a guy, probably the answer is going to be like either I don't know, or he might say something vague. But I don't know, maybe he'll know. Maybe he'll know directly. But yeah, that's the best I could say, is if you just, yeah, if you just, I think being direct is best. That must be pretty new too, because I think you haven't mentioned him before. Oh, I don't know. But if you guys are, I mean, and it's actually even easier if it is a fairly new relationship, because you don't know at that point, and it's known that you don't know. So if you're still getting to know each other, it's perfectly normal to ask something like that. All right. All right, so we got 14 people on still. Let's see here. Let's check the top fans for right now. Jennifer's at the top. She's at 375 XP. Ryan's right under there with 275. Sandra at 150. Oh, that's not good. All right. I don't know if that just cut out. All right, Max is down at 75 in 4th place. All right, hopefully I'm still here. That was like a weird thing my camera just did. Cool. Okay. Well, we lost somebody, but other than that, we're still good. So I would just say it is pretty much that simple, though. I don't think it's weird, and you should just be straightforward. It's almost like it's better to be a little weird by being straightforward than it is to be more weird by not being straightforward. That's how I see it anyway. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Maybe give me 1 second. I'm gonna look at the snow again. All right, guys. Somebody just give me a confirmation if this camera is still like working properly. Because it, like I said, it just did a weird thing. Yeah, so I went outside. It's almost dark now. Snow's still coming down, and I did see a snowplow go by, so that's good. So we'll see how clear they keep the roads here. Yeah, I actually thought about it too. Jennifer, I know last month you and Case were talking about you trying to meet somebody good. So did you fly to Asia like he said and find someone? All right, what is going on here? Oh, that's okay. That should fix the chat thing. I had to change a setting on there. Oh, no. No, he's Swedish. All right. Yeah, I don't know where Case is today, but I was thinking about that. You, I was surprised you said that. I didn't know if you were serious or not. But I guess that's good. Yeah. So, anyway, guys, I don't know. I don't see any more comments. So if anybody has anything else they want to say. Gotta switch to my backup drink. This doesn't have caffeine in it, so I'm like starting to fade. All right, so I guess I'll hang around here for a few more minutes just in case anybody has anything else. I appreciate everybody with the super chats today. So altogether, once kind of translated into US currency, it looks like it's $10.61, which I really appreciate because I honestly do not make all that much from YouTube. So that helps me to hit the threshold. There's like $100 payout threshold before I get to see any of that money. So Sandra says, hope that you'll stay safe for the impending snowstorm. Yeah, after I get off here, I'm gonna take a look at things and kind of determine. I was gonna stay here and work on things, but depending on the snow, I'll figure out if it's better for me to maybe just head home. And there is a grocery store on the drive home that I can stay at. Like I'll stop off there, maybe get some things, and then head home from there. Probably would be best. I've been stuck in the house, so I kind of don't want to go back, but at the same time, also don't really want to be snowed into the office. All right. Well, guys, I don't see any other comments. We've been on for like an hour and a half, a little bit more than that. Yeah, hour 45 minutes. So basically, I just wanted to give one other update. I know that I haven't put out the 2025 financial goals video or the review and the 2026 financial goals. I'm working on it. Just know, guys, I've got some stuff that I haven't mentioned on the stream that's going on in the background. I want to make some updates about it, but I also kind of want to figure it out first. Like, I don't like to post stuff and just say like, hey, there's a problem. I want to be like, hey, there was a problem and here's what happened and I got it sorted out. Here's what's going to happen going forward. So I kind of have to wait until I get it sorted out so I can make that video. But what I'll do, I'm going to switch a little bit. I think I'm going to start posting videos as unlisted, and then post the link to them in the in the community tab feed, and then that way they still come up in your subscriptions, but they won't come up just to random people that don't really know me that well, that aren't following the channel. And then that way you can just watch them directly, and it'd be more like update type videos, and then normal type videos I'll keep in the subscription feed. Update type videos are even less formal than usual, and also just kind of, not either not edited or not edited very thoroughly, and it's more just to convey information. But just know that I do have one of those coming, and it's going to kind of partly explain why I don't have those other videos done yet, but it'll also tell you how I think you'll understand at that point. So I just got to get some stuff figured out. I should have it figured out by mid next week, and then I can give you guys an update on what's going on. So just look for that. It should be in your subscription feed as a post. So if you're on mobile, it should come up. If you're looking at it on desktop or on your TV, it probably won't. So I'm not sure how to, that's like one issue to figure out. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. And I'm going to go figure out if I should try to drive home or what I should do here. So thanks everybody for being here. I will try, I think right now the priority I think is to get stuff figured out and get that update up for you. And I'll try to do that next week. Don't expect a polished video, but just expect a video that that does kind of describe what's going on. And like I said, I'll try to have that up for you next week. Once that's out of the way, I can get back on track of trying to get the 2025 and 2026 videos out. Sandra says, take good care out there, everyone. All right. And I will, all right, we'll go ahead and end things here. For the top fans for the stream, Jennifer is in first place for 375 XP, Ryan at 275, Sandra 150 in third place, Max in fourth place at 75. So that's it for this month, and I will see you guys next month's live stream, but also hopefully next week. Just watch your feed on mobile, and I'll put just that same place that I post the announcements that we're going to do a live stream. I'll post a little secret video in there with the update on everything that's going on. Then like I said, I'll try to have that like mid next week. All right, see you guys then.